We live. And we are live. What's up, everybody? It's On the Stick After Dark. My name is Joe Drilling, and joining me at this time, my current broadcast partner, Mr. Kurt Adam.
Who is here? Yes, I am.
That's right. So we are checking out a new-ish mod for WWF No Mercy.
The the official On the Stick best wrestling game of all time.
Best 3D wrestling game of all time.
Okay,
Let's go with
all
that.
right. That's good clarification.
Yeah, so this is AKI Evolution, which is like a full overhaul. These guys have been working on this forever. There was a different... This is a continuation of a different mod that I don't recall the name of. So this is version 1. This is like complete version 1 of this, which you can see there's a whole bunch of matches that I can't do. I assume that that's just because I can't do them yet. I'm going to do a normal match. And there's only one arena right now. Allegedly, like, as they continue doing this, they're planning to build out arenas for just every show, every pay-per-view, every promotion. They're trying to go the distance on this. This is like, it's more than a demo. Like I said, they're considering it version 1, the complete
They're going the distance.
V1.0, yeah. We'll turn the intros on so we can get some of that. So Triple H is the world champion. Kurt Angle's the Intercontinental champion. Eddie Guerrero is the European champion. Crash Holly is the hardcore champion. Dean Malenko is the light heavyweight champion, and Stephanie McMahon is the women's champion in this. I'm just going to do non-title match. I don't know if any of that's going to screw stuff up. So,
are you playing this in a emulator?
I am playing this in an emulator, yes.
Which one are you using?
The guys who did this were kind enough to, when you download it, it comes with Project 64 and the game. So all you have to do is tweak a couple of very basic settings on Project 64 and load their game into it, and that's all you have to do. So there was no messing around with, like, it wasn't like the last time I did a No Mercy mod, and it took me just like hours and hours.
I remember you remarking that you had to go through a lot of hoops to make all these things work and so on.
Yeah. And it was I just realized I didn't tweet this out, so I'm doing that now. But it was a couple hours worth of pain in the ass to get it working. And so now this one, they were just, like I said, really kind. Everything it's not even, you don't even get a ROM of the game No Mercy. You just get a pre-patched, pre-modified thing, and that's it. You're all set. We're going, So, and that's what we're doing here. We're going. So, it's really easy. There's instructions on the message board post where you can download version 1, which if you just go to the AKI Evolution Twitter account, which I think is just AKI Evolution, there's there's a link to a MediaFire page. You download it. It's got the emulator in it. It's got the game in it, and it tells you in that post, like, to make sure these few settings are correct. To make sure that the big thing is making sure the textures folder is pointed in the correct place, and that's literally it. Then it's just like, go from there. So it was really, there we go. I have tweeted out the show.
AKI_evolution is the Twitter account.
Yes. And actually, if you look at the tweet that I just sent out saying that I'm doing this, it links to their I added them in it, and hope they'll tweet that out. But so yeah, the guys behind this are really passionate about this game and about pro wrestling, and they've just added a million. Like in the original game, each character had 4 costumes. I'm already up to 12 on The Rock. I mean, we're going back to his his 90s look. We've got a current look. We've got we've got his $5,000 shirt look. I'm doing this on ultra low latency, and I'm trying for the first time to stream in full 1080. So let me know, Kurt, if you notice any hiccups. We've got the old Rocky Maivia baby face that didn't get over whatsoever look here. We go back to that. We got Stone Cold. We got John Cena, and I'm sure, we got we got CM Punk. We got Sabu, we got Goldberg, Sting, Undertaker. Let's see here. So it looks like there's only a few wrestlers so far. I thought there were more, but maybe again this is just because it's version 1 and it's kind of a preview. There's only a handful of available wrestlers right now.
So what's the shtick here? Like, why do you want to play this versus just playing No Mercy?
So again, this is sort of a this is not the completed version of this game, but the idea would be that it is a game that uses the classic No Mercy engine that everybody loves, because AKI hasn't really done. They did the Def Jam games, and they did the Ultimate Muscle games, and then like that was kind of it. Like they haven't really done a wrestling game. They did a wrestling game that was direct to like Android in Japan only. But other than that, they haven't really done a wrestling game since the Def Jam games, essentially. And the last game they did that was with an actual real promotion was No Mercy. And that was it. And it's a gameplay style that every time somebody makes a new wrestling game, they talk about how, we love No Mercy. Like when the TNA Impact game came out for PS3 and Xbox 360, it was one of Midway's last games, and by some accounts is the game that had a large role in bankrupting them. They talked about, we all love No Mercy. It's going to be like No Mercy, and it's never like No Mercy. It is never like No Mercy. So a lot of people have just taken a game, the game that is No Mercy, effectively, and just added newer wrestlers or older wrestlers or different. The idea is to get the kind of roster depth you see in a Fire Pro game, basically, and play it in that old engine that everybody loves, and that is why people would want to play this. And it's similar to the one I a couple of years ago I played WWF Legends, which is, it's a bunch of old school wrestlers in this game. It's basically the 80s, the Hulkamania era of guys represented in that game. In this game, the idea is to eventually have just like, hundreds of wrestlers from the Indies and Japan and Ring of Honor and Impact and AEW and classic WCW guys and modern day WWE NXT guys, and just like anybody you'd want to play as would be available. That's sort of what they are going for, and that's why, now there at C2E2 in I guess that was in November maybe, or February, right around the time that of the last AEW pay-per-view, a bunch of the AEW folks did a panel at C2E2 before their show, and we're talking about, we'd love to make a video game, but like Cody Rhodes, who is kind of one of the main driving folks behind AEW, is a big nerd. And he was like, "There's one developer that everybody wants to see a wrestling game from," and he basically hinted that they were going to try to talk AKI into doing a new wrestling game for AEW, which, like, who knows? They're getting those Nintendo checks for making style savvy games, so who knows if
Yeah.
they would be interested.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men?
Well, the Shadow knows that.
Sure, of course.
But, I don't know what interest AKI would have in doing another wrestling game, but fans definitely want it, so, maybe we'll see it. But as of right now, like, the mod community is what we've got, and when it comes to wrestling games, 3D wrestling games in particular, like, this is generally considered to be the high watermark, and so people keep modding it. There's a huge community around this game, and a number of different mods, and this is just kind of the latest one that a bunch of people are collaborating on. Then they want to make it, the end-all be-all of No Mercy mods, basically. So, who knows how successful that's going to be. I feel like the default difficulty here is a little harder than the stock game. But, yeah, it's a really interesting project, and I'm very fascinated to see what the finished product, or I guess a later version, looks like. But, I mean, this looks great. Obviously, the graphics are still blocky like an N64 game, because it is a mod on an N64 game, but it's got
the last one of these that I remember you playing while we were watching. It seems.
Yeah, so
they're not so, blurry, and the polygons are blocky, but the things that are on them don't look terrible.
Yeah, they've gone ahead and really they use high res. But one of the nice things about N64 emulation is that you can use high res textures, and obviously that's what they've done here. Is apply a bunch of high res textures, found good quality photographs of all the wrestlers and everything, and really kind of gone for it, which I appreciate, and I think the community tends to appreciate, obviously. And they've added new moves as well, moves that were not in the game, natively. Which hopefully we'll see if I can get up to a finisher state with CM Punk here, but kind of back on the defensive already. But yeah, it's it's one of those things where it's just like the fans are keeping it alive, and supposedly they want to do some really cool things with it, and I hope they're successful. And since WrestleMania is on Saturday and Sunday of this week, I figured, and since nobody else replied to the email thread about tonight's stream, I figured, hey, this seems like a good time to do this.
Sure. Rhino Nar asks, is this game on Steam? No, as we talked about at the beginning, this is a mod that Joe is playing on an emulator. This is not an officially released anything.
Yeah, this is a free mod. If you go to check out the Twitter account, as Kurt said, at AKI Evolution, AKI_Evolution. That's where you can find a link. It's in their pinned tweet. You can find a link to check it out. Oh no. They've redone all the fonts as well, which is maybe not as obvious to you for sure.
Looks like they're making fine use of Bijou.
Sure.
I think maybe, or that sort of movie title-esque clock.
Right. Oh boy. So yeah, I don't know. I think again. I wish I could remember the name of the mod that these folks did originally, but I can't bring it to mind. Duh. Son of a bitch. How does the stream look, by the way? Is the 1080 working out all right, or is
Yeah,
it?
it seems fine. I haven't seen hitching or anything.
Okay.
Seems smooth.
I'm on
I'm not
Ethernet,
continuously
so
staring at it to make sure, but
sure.
whenever I watch it for a decent amount of time, it doesn't seem like it's doing anything untoward.
That's good. Uh-oh. Ah. So yeah, it seems like there's some stuff. There's no music, as you know, you're not hearing Eddie Guerrero's theme music or anything here. We didn't hear any music during the entrances, so I think that's some of the stuff that obviously is going to be coming in updates in the future. And I know I saw somebody else do a video on YouTube about this mod, but they might have had a more advanced, because they showed a much bigger roster, I believe. But you know, we'll see. Let's see here. Let's try a steel cage match. Let's see how that works out. If we put weapons on, does that mean there's just weapons in the cage? I guess we'll find out.
Guess we will.
Let's see here. So you even got Hulk Hogan's Mr. America gimmick in here. Only 4 Hogan skins, but I guess that's really all you need. You've got classic red and yellow, more recent red and yellow, NWO, and Mr. America, which I suppose is all you really need. I don't know how many Sabu skins you would need. No, only 4. Different colored baggy pants. That's all you need for Sabu. Goldberg. Only 4 on Goldberg. We have black and white Sting, red and black Sting, and then we've got Surfer Sting. Makes sense. Undertaker. Only 4 Undertakers. It's kind of surprising. You could get a lot more Undertakers, I feel like, out of that, but I recently lamented that Shawn Michaels and Eddie Guerrero never had a one-on-one match, which is really unfortunate. So let's do it. Let's do a little, like, if these two guys wrestled in 1990, let's see if we can get some like late 90s Eddie Guerrero gear here. Oh yeah, there we go. It's like if Shawn and Eddie had a cage match in like 1997. So the cage looks good. I assume that, given what these guys have talked about wanting to do, that later there will be more cage options. But this is the classic big blue WWF steel cage that was used from about WrestleMania 2 until about 1999 or so. So, Kurt, what have you been playing lately?
I have been playing Animal Crossing and Picross S3 and Half-Life Alyx.
Not Murder Picross?
I am also playing Murder Picross, but the problem with Murder Picross is I'm usually playing Picross. I am like doing it while we're doing other stuff, like watching TV or something.
Yeah.
There was a pause for a second.
Okay. Let me know if it gets bad or anything. But...
Yeah, no, it was a brief. Like it was enough to have me see the little thing spin for a second. And Murder Quick-Cross actually has like text to read and digest and so on. So I finished the first case in that, and then I'll go back to it for sure. But Rhino Nar says, "Is RVD in this mod?"
He is not as of right now, but I would not be surprised. I would expect him to be eventually, given that Sabu is. I really feel like this is a very early... Like, I mean, they're calling it version 1, like I said, but this honestly doesn't really feel like a version 1 to me. This feels like a like if this was a Steam game, it would be early access kind of vibe.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, here, see, we've got it working. See?
Yep. It's functional.
Now we'll do more.
Yep. Oof. I don't know. Okay. Oh, okay. Like, I don't know what button I'm supposed to press to shake him off the cage.
Oh, shit. Adam Schlesinger, who is
The Fountains of Wayne.
Two main guys from that apparently has died from COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. I had not heard that.
I saw that earlier today.
Bummer.
It was a bummer.
Matches.
There are on the menu. The menu shows them, but I don't think I can play one yet.
Yeah. What kind of match variety does the original engine give you?
The original engine had tag matches, ladder match. It was the first game. I think it was the first wrestling game to ever have a ladder match. I believe that was one of the big selling points. It had a ladder match. It had. What the fuck? Yeah, it had ladder matches. It had cage matches. It had a number of backstage areas, so you could have like a falls count anywhere, and you could leave the the arena and sort of go into the locker room and the offices backstage and all this kind of stuff. And that was one of the big, games didn't really do a lot of that at that time. The AI just counters everything. Like,
I was gonna say, it seems like you can't do shit.
there we go. Oh, what the fuck? Yeah. And then it had like your standard, your tag matches, your Royal Rumbles,
Right.
the sort of normal stuff that we've had all come to expect by then. But yeah, in terms of gimmick matches, it was ladder matches, cage matches. I think First Blood was a thing that was available in that game. And there was a host of weapons. And in the story mode, I remember they kind of like faked a tables match by making it so there were like some matches where you had to bust open your opponent, or not bust. Sorry, I just busted him open. So what my eyes are seeing and what my brain is trying to say.
Yep.
You had to put him through the table before you could win, which is not really how a tables match works. And you just had to get you had to take him to the announce table because you could put him through the announce table in that game. So you had to take him down to the announce table and put him through the announce table, and and then pin him after that, and that's how you won the table quote unquote tables match. But there was not actually a tables match, and I think that's about it. I think you could do an Iron Man match, which is like there's a time limit, and whoever gets the most pinfalls within that time limit is the winner. It's like a score deal. I think that was in there. And I think that's about it. But, that was... I should have turned off the rope breaks. Rope breaks in a cage are stupid. But yeah, there was for the time, there was a really good selection of different sort of gimmick matches and stuff, and I'm sure that, the folks working on this are very intent on getting as many different kind of gimmick matches in there. Like whether they can get stuff like Hell in a Cell, which is a really big cage with a roof that surrounds the whole ring, not just it's not just on the ring apron around the ropes, it's like around the whole ringside area, basically.
Right.
Or if they can get like Elimination Chamber, which is a 6-man thing with like a domed cage. Whether they can get that stuff in here or not, who knows, but I'm sure they're going to do their damnedest.
Right.
So we'll see where it goes. But I mean, as of right now, just all the work here looks really good. The canvas design and all that looks really good. The way the wrestlers animate and everything still looks good. Again, we'll see. I haven't busted out or I think seen any moves that were not in the original games so far. But I know that they have definitely added new animations and new moves that were not already in the game, stock, as it were.
1, 2, 3, pinfall.
So, there you go. Finally got a win. So, I didn't get to use my finisher, but at least I got a win. Let's take a look and see again what all the gimmick matches are that are going to be here and that are... So, yeah, we can also do tag team, triple threat, fatal four-way, handicaps and tournaments and everything. What is the Z... What is assigned as the Z button here? That's the real question. Oh, there we go. Wow, the difficulty's on beginner and Eddie. So either they're big Eddie Guerrero marks or that's just not true.
Yeah, maybe they haven't tuned that at all.
Yeah. So Let's see. So we have normal. Okay, so we're going to have 2 out of 3 falls, an ambulance match, which I think, that's probably, I'm going to guess is self-explanatory, Kurt, but I'll explain it just in case. That's where you have to beat somebody up bad enough that you can load them into an ambulance.
Okay.
That's how the match ends.
Them with an ambulance.
Sadly, no.
That's not the same.
Backstage brawl. So they're going to keep all those backstage.
That's Crackdown 4.
Yeah, right. They're going to keep all the backstage areas, I assume, here, add new ones, and you'll be able to fight backstage. Yeah. Casket match is the same thing as an ambulance, except instead of an ambulance, it's a casket. That's an Undertaker thing, obviously. Championship Scramble is a match where it's a multi-person match, and usually there's a time limit, and it's whoever gets the last pinfall. Like every pinfall, the belt technically changes hands. And then when the time limit expires, whoever had the most recent pinfall or submission is the new champion. A death match can be a lot of things. I assume that in this case, they're going to do something like barbed wire ropes or explosive panels, or who knows. A hardcore match and a death match. The difference between those things are splitting hairs. I don't know what they have in mind for that. They're going to do Hell in a Cell. Iron Man there's a time limit.
Hardcore is when you use a wrench that you've got stuck in your pants.
Yeah. Yes.
Also, when you play, faster and more aggressive.
Right. Yeah. It's like Punk, but it's harder and faster.
It's harder and faster.
Right.
Yeah.
Iron Man is that's like a score thing. Ladder, actually, we can do a ladder. I can do a ladder match right now. So I'll do a ladder match. Last Man Standing is where you have to. So the way WWE does it is they just have to be down for a 10 count, which I kind of hate. Traditionally, it was you had to pin the guy, and then after you pinned him, he had to answer the 10 count after being pinned. The idea being that, this was such a heinous match that not only did you have to pin them, but after you pinned them, they had to be so utterly defeated that they could not stand up to answer the 10. Scaffold match, again, I think fairly self-explanatory. It's a match that takes place on a scaffold. The first person to knock the other person off of the scaffold wins.
It's a precursor to or a prequel to the Uncharted series.
Yes.
Climb around on a scaffold.
Climb around on a scaffold and yeah.
Just as you think you're grabbing onto something, then it collapses and you have to grab on.
The two most famous ones were the Road Warriors versus the Midnight Express at Starrcade 84 or 85, where Jim Cornette took like an extremely horrible bump and like shattered his knee or something, or his ankle falling off the scaffold. No, you don't want that. A shoot fight is usually in games like this, it's just like UFC rules, which I assume they might try to do an octagon style ring for that. Some games have done that, some have not. It might just be like a Pride FC or Pancrase in like a regular boxing ring or wrestling ring, but it's a shoot fight. And usually in those modes in games like this, you can't use a lot of the normal wrestling moves. Your fighter selection is limited, or the win conditions are different. You have to knock them out or whatever. Steel cage, we just saw tables. You have to put a guy through a table to win. And a TLC match is a tables, ladders, and chairs match, which is functionally the same as a ladder match, which you're about to see, except that there are also tables and ladders put in the ring and around it prior to the thing starting. And we're actually going to do this the way that it is meant to be done, which is the only way to win a ladder match is to retrieve the thing on top of the ladder. It's the whole point. So, and you know what? What the hell? We'll make it a match for the game will end up a draw under this rule. Okay, well, let's not do that, I guess. The game will end up a draw. Okay, well, I guess it's just the ladder thing is... Okay, that's fine, I guess. So we'll do it as a title match, and we'll go old school. We'll do Stone Cold versus Triple H for the championship. How many outfits does Stone Cold have? There's not a lot of things you can do with Stone Cold, because Stone Cold had black boots and black trunks and black knee pads and black wrist tape, and that was pretty much it. So... You can get him with a variety of vests.
Settled on his look.
Yep.
Knew what he was doing.
They really
Knew what he was about.
they're really leaning hard on changing the
Steve
color.
Ostick.
Yeah, that was a typo. They mentioned that when they first released the game, that they knew that in some cases it would show as Ostick, and then it goes back and forth depending on which skin you have. So he had a variety of leather vests that he wore to the ring, so they were taking advantage of all that. And he had a million different t-shirts, because the man sold t-shirts like you wouldn't believe, and so it seems like there is just a million street clothes t-shirt options. Good lordy. Look at all these t-shirts.
A lot of t-shirts.
It's a lot of t-shirts. Oh, and there we go. We're back to Ringmaster. The Ringmaster, Steve Austin. That was when they first brought him in. They put him with Ted DiBiase and called him the Ringmaster. They didn't make it a double entendre, though, so he didn't have like a circus gimmick, which is a wasted opportunity in my view. This was the ECW era Steve Austin right here.
That was actually the shtick.
You would think so.
You would think so.
This is ECW era Austin here. This is the Stevester, which he cut a promo in ECW. This is an outfit he wore one time on one obscure show that showed in syndication only in certain markets in the 90s, and the people who made this game decided to put it in here. But right after he left WCW, he did a few shows for ECW, and he did this promo as Hulk Hogan, where he said he was the Stevester, and Steve-O-Mania was running wild in the ECW, brother. And it's actually one of the all-time great promos. Yeah.
Ryan O'Nar says, "Is Simpsons wrestling any good?"
Nope. It's hot trash. It's one of the worst wrestling games ever made.
This does not surprise me.
Yep. Hollywood Blondes era Steve Austin.
There are not a lot. The hit to miss ratio on Simpsons game is not great.
Yeah. A hit and run, I think, is one of the only hits, strangely.
Yeah, speaking of that.
Yeah. The arcade game and hit and run, right? And that's kind of about it. And hit and run is just Crazy Taxi, but with Simpsons.
Right.
Yeah, so this is Hollywood Blondes era Steve Austin. Unfortunately, as of right now, there is no Brian Pillman, who was the other Hollywood Blonde, so you can't really take full advantage of that. But then we're back to the Steve we all know and love, which is black boots, black trunks, black knee braces.
Goes with everything.
Goes with everything. It's true. Oh. While processing graphics data, an exception occurred. You may need to restart the emulator.
That's what they meant by ending in a draw.
Oh, wait. But it's... Oh, no. Yeah, no. So is it just me in a black screen now? I think it is.
Yeah. Well, it was a white screen at first, but now it's a black screen.
Okay. Because I had it...
The error.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's try again. We're just going to make sure that our cheats are set correctly, and they are. Is it back? Can you see it? It looks like you can see it.
I can now see it, yes.
Okay, great. So, I guess I'm going to try the ladder match one more time without making it a title match, because I'm wondering if that's what, blew it up. It saved all my options. We'll do it as a non-title match. We'll end up a draw, that's fine. But we're still going to do the Stevester versus Triple H.
It didn't know what to do with all those t-shirts. That was the problem.
That was the big problem, yeah. Just too many t-shirts.
Just cut a few.
Yeah. A lot of Triple H options here, too.
You got your single H, you got your Triple H.
No double H, sadly.
No one cares about that.
Okay, so I guess it must have been the belt thing, or I don't know.
Or maybe just a random thing, and if you tried it again, it would be fine.
Yeah, that's true. But why tempt it?
Right.
Oh, he's going to go for the ladder right away, huh?
Ladder doesn't seem very tall. Now pick up the ladder and beat him with it.
Look, man, there's a build to these things, okay?
I understand.
Also, I don't remember exactly which
a
button.
Former pro wrestler,
There we go. Are you happy now?
You gotta know how to put these things over. I am. It's true. Rhino says, I met DDP, nice guy.
I've heard that about DDP. I have not met him myself.
That's Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yes. Diamond Dallas Page.
Ah, okay.
Anybody watching this has probably figured out by now that Kurt's not a wrestling fan, but if you haven't, Kurt's not a wrestling fan.
Kurt's not a... Yeah. I have seen some wrestling. That's as far as I can go.
Didn't you go to a wrestling show at some point?
I got given tickets to like the second WrestleMania or something like that. I think we established that it was not the first one, but
yeah,
it was definitely one of the early ones.
It would depend on where it was. If you can tell me where it was, I can tell you which WrestleMania it probably was.
I don't remember where it was. I thought I was getting tickets to actually go to the thing. What I ended up doing was going to the DC Armory and watching.
Oh, watching the right.
And I was like, okay, that's not what I thought was happening here.
That's how they used to do it, man. Before pay-per-view.
Yeah, before your pay-per-view. Yeah, exactly. But I had friends in college who were way into it, so I got similar sort of osmoting as with you and Eric. And then my roommate my freshman year in college was into, I want to say it was like East Coast Wrestling or something like that.
Well, so ECW started as Eastern Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
And then became Extreme Championship Wrestling.
So
later on,
I saw like Ricky Steamboat, who then graduated up from the minors. Later. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So yeah, just random stuff that was around me.
So I think the people who made this either are just like huge Eddie Guerrero marks, or there's something weird about Eddie Guerrero in the way the game is coded, the mod is coded for him, because
you're not
Triple H is not is not fighting back the way that.
Maybe they just hate Triple H.
That's also possible. A lot of wrestling fans do. That's very possible. There are definitely some wrestling fans who feel that way about Triple H. You know, let's see if I can put him through the table. Oops, that's not exactly what I meant to do. No, that wasn't enough to do it. Yep,
Doesn't
that's
necessarily mean you can't.
No, it does not necessarily mean I can't. It just means that was not enough to do it.
Right.
Oops, it's same. Didn't mean to do that again.
Reno says, I watched a video on YouTube where Brian Pillman said OJ was not guilty on ECW. Huh.
Did you say said a Jew is not guilty?
Said OJ.
OJ is not guilty.
That's a hell of a thing.
That sounds like a thing Brian Pillman would. There's the table break. It probably could have picked a better move than a jawbreaker to do it, but oh well, I guess.
Don't cry over spilled tables.
So am I on special? I think I'm on special. Oh. Okay. Well, I think I was on special. It doesn't actually give you the... It just seems like that bar just turns red and stops, like, throbbing.
Yeah.
Which in the normal game, that's not how it works, obviously.
Yeah.
There you go. Now you're getting your money's worth, Kurt. Is that what you wanted?
Oh yeah.
Is this what
Yeah,
you wanted?
definitely. This is what I wanted. Bread and circuses.
Carnivals, please, Kurt. Wrestling has its origins in the carnivals, not circuses.
Okay. So funnel cake and carnivals.
Yes. Ooh. Look at that ladder bump. So yeah, I'm trying to remember if I heard that these guys had plans for a story mode, because one of the other things that people really love about the original No Mercy is that it has this like very long single player and even two player if you're playing for the tag belts. Like there's these branching storylines where like if you lose a match, then you know the story goes one way, and if you win, it goes another way, and you can choose to make alliances with people and not. And like, it's semi-linear, but it branches at sort of each different match for the most part. There's a couple where like you have to win, but there's like hours and hours and hours worth of story content.
Star Fox.
Kinda, yeah. But between at that time there was the world title and the intercontinental title and the tag titles and the European title and the women's title and the hardcore title, and each of those has its own set of branching path storyline things in it, which they haven't really been able to nail that in a WWF game since, which sounds strange, but they really they just haven't. It's either way too linear or there's like not enough storyline stuff at all. Okay, so now let's see if we can hit the stunner. Wham! Stunner! Let's see if we can hit Triple H with his own finisher. I was going to hit him with another stunner just for funsies, but I'll just shit can him instead. Yep. Ooh, okay, well, that works. That's not what I was going for, but I'll take the big bombs away. I feel like I recall it being harder to knock the ladder over in original No Mercy, but I guess I could be wrong about that. Let's stomp a mud hole in you and walk it dry, son. He keeps getting up. Like, stay down. Is he going to try to climb it? Climb it. Because you can fight on top of it in this game. Nope, he's not going to... He's just going to wait for me to... Let's run him into the buckle. See if that keeps him down for a while. Nope. Well, at least it took him a while to knock the ladder down that time.
Yeah, that's positive.
Yeah. Hip toss on the ladder. It's always nice. Let's see if I can... Must be able to do the Thez press, right? Nope. Okay. That... Guess my timing was off. Oh, come on. There we go. See if that nut shot leaves him down for a little bit. Nope. He's getting back up again. Jesus. What do I gotta do to beat this guy?
Throw him out of the ring.
I tried that already.
Do it again. Put more.
There's the old Stone Cold Thez press. Alright. Now let's see if... Wham! Stunner! He did not seriously just get right up from a Stone Cold Stunner. Unbelievable. Should have given him 2 just for good measure. I should have saved the table. That's what I should have done. Should.
True.
Well, I also wonder if what they meant when they said match will end in a draw, if that just means that, like, I can't win the match. There's no way to actually
maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
grab the gimmick up there.
Maybe that's what it is.
I'd like to have enough time to actually try, though, you know, to make sure that that's the case.
Right. I mean, it seemed like he had a decent amount of time at the top the last go round.
Yeah.
As opposed to that one that just did.
Ugh. Oof. And now I got a Steve Weiser. Okay, let's try pitching him to the outside again. I'm not getting the message to tap, which makes me feel like I'm not centered properly.
Falling over animation tricks.
It's pretty good. It's too bad you can't do the, like a lot of these matches end with the guys tied up in the ropes, like they fall off the ladder and crotch themselves, and then like their foot gets twisted up in the ropes, that kind of stuff. That's not, doesn't seem to be happening here. Oops, definitely didn't want to roll him up. Wham, stunner. Alright. I'm tapping. Yeah, I think when they say it's going to end in a draw, that means I literally, like at this point, I can't. I just cannot win.
I think that must be what it is.
Which is fine. Draw game. Alright, let's see. Is there anything that we did? Steel cage. I'm not going to do an Iron Man match because that's longer than we want to do. But let's see. We'll end on a good old John Cena versus CM Punk. And I thought this will be it. It's been about an hour, not quite. So we started a little late tonight. Anything else going on in the chat?
Nope. No. Rhino asked if you had to pick a bad WCW. Would you pick SNES or PS1?
Like if I had to say which was worse, or
I guess that's what he's getting at.
I think Nitro. Well, actually, no. They both have amazing character select screens. So they both get points for that, but I think Nitro's character select screen is slightly more amazing, and even though it's not a very good game, like I at least understand how it works. And Super Brawl on the Super NES is just like inscrutable. So I would say that WCW Super Brawl Wrestling for the Super NES is the worst Super NES, or the worst WCW wrestling game.
There you have it.
But that's just one man's opinion. I know. Yeah, so now that I'm taking on John Cena, I really feel like these guys just love Eddie Guerrero so much, which I totally understand. That they've just made it so that Eddie is ridiculously good.
So what have you been playing when you haven't been playing this mod?
Let's see. I started Doom Eternal.
Doom Eternal?
Yes. And
How far along are you?
Not very. Like, I've played maybe an hour of it.
Okay.
I'm already kind of questioning if I set the difficulty one higher than the default, which is ultra violence, I think.
Yes.
And there's already been a couple of moments where I was like, maybe I shouldn't have done this. Go to sleep, John Cena. So that's a move that definitely was not in the original game. Will you do it nice just to be sure? Oh, okay. And you're still up, huh, John? That's why they call him Big Match John. This guy's no selling to go to sleeps. This is terrible. Terrible psychology.
Oh, the humanity of it.
You're telling me.
This is what's wrong with wrestling these days.
That's right. Guys don't sell finishes.
That's right.
That actually is a problem with wrestling today in some cases.
This does not actually surprise me. All the kids today, they don't know how to sell finishes. Yeah.
So I've been kind of thinking about knocking the difficulty down
Yeah. So I'm playing on
to hurt me plenty. Yeah.
I'm playing on the default. That's what I did with Doom 2016. You know, Alex, of course, is like ultraviolence is a little too easy. Yada yada yada. I just.
This is an Iron Man
worse
match.
at these things than him, I
Right.
guess, and/or I am not as interested in working it that hard.
Right.
And so yeah, I think it's just fine where it is for me.
Yeah. So apparently I did set this for an Iron Man match, but I'm not going to play the whole thing because
You'll just play the bronze
it'll
man
take an
section.
hour. It'll take an hour, and I don't think we want to spend that much
Yeah, we
more
don't
time.
need an hour. Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna end it here. But yeah, I might knock it down. It depends on how much more of it I feel like playing. I also finally got Cursed Castilla EX and Super Hydra on. They were both on sale on Switch this last week, and so those are games I've been meaning to play for a long time. They're both from the same developer,
I was
and
gonna say I don't know what these are.
Super Hydra is a homage to Gradius, kind of, and Cursed Castilla is an homage to Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts.
Okay.
And both of those things are
very much in your wheelhouse.
yeah, very much in my wheelhouse. So I think I'm going to check those out.
Anthony has arrived.
Oh, well, just in time for this for the
For
stream
us
to be
say
over.
Thanks, bye.
Yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out.
Yep.
That's what we're
Roll out the
doing.
carpet for you.
Yep. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. And yeah, check this mod out. If you, again, the link to download it is if you just go to the Twitter page for AKI_evolution. You can check it out yourself. And it seems like they have a lot more in store, and it looks really good so far. So I'm on.
As he said at the beginning, it's all one big thing, so you don't have to do a lot of shenanigans.
Yeah,
to try it.
Everything is in the zip file. You don't have to do a bunch of you don't have to patch your own ROM and deal with all that nonsense. So, all right, have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.